While a young boy is checking out the local area map of Tokyo, 3 girls walk past him, thinking that he is adorable and wondering if he is a boy or a girl. He wanders on, asking for directions to the Sunohara dormitory. A friendly liquor shop owner is happy to help him out and tells him how to reach his destination, learning that his name is Aki, and he will be staying there from here on out. As he is following the directions given to him, Aki thinks back on his reason for moving here. It turns out he was never treated as a man in the little town where he is from, mainly due to his cute, almost girlish appearance, so he hopes that moving here will help him get past that. Just then a sudden downpour catches him and he gets soaked before he can reach the dormitory. When he arrives at his destination, he is caught by surprise by the caretaker, Aayaka, who is a very busty woman. She was aware of him arriving today, so she already knows that he must be Aki. However, she is under the mistaken impression that he is, in fact, a girl. Caught off guard by the beautiful lady, Aki is too embarrassed to speak up and correct her, and ends up getting carried to the bath by Aayaka, who sees that he is wet and does not want him to catch a cold. Once he is all alone in the bath, Aki manages to compose himself, wondering why no one told him that such a beautiful lady is the caretaker at this dorm. Just then, she enters the bathroom as well, wearing nothing but a towel. Aki starts panicking, even more so when he hears that the tradition at the dorm here is for her to wash the back of every new resident. Not giving him a chance to say anything, she drags him out of the bath and sits him down in front of her, still oblivious to the fact that he is a boy. Deciding to clear things up, he reveals to her that he is a boy. However, instead of leaving the bathroom as he expects her to, Aayaka thanks him for clearing up the misunderstanding and proceeds to tease him by nibbling on his ear. This proves to be too much for Aki, and he faints. Once he wakes up, he finds himself resting on Ayaka's lap, fully clothed as well. Realizing that she must have put clothes on him while he was out, she apologizes, mentioning that only girls have moved into this dorm so far, stating how she can confirm that he is indeed a boy, and would like to apologize for the misunderstanding by taking care of him to the best of her abilities. Before Aki can say anything in response, she gives him a hug and hurries off to prepare dinner. The way she is treating him makes Aki worried that things will be the same here as they were back home, and that he will be treated like a girl. Thinking how it would be nice for Aayaka to recognize him as a man, as that would potentially give him the chance to do lewd things with her, Aki becomes determined to prove himself to her. In order to do so, he starts helping her out with her chores, but whatever he starts doing, he stumbles and falls, which only gets him frustrated. Seeing that, Aayaka apologizes for not realizing how he felt sooner, and tells him that she will treat him like a grown-up if he gives her a kiss on the cheek. Aki is more than happy to do so, for more than one reason, and just as he is about to kiss her, the remaining 3 residents of the dorm show up. Aayaka messaged them that a boy has moved in, so they are eager to meet him. Before Aki can seal the deal, the 3 girls interrupt him, wondering what the 2 of them are doing right in front of the entrance. They quickly explain to Aki that Aayaka is this touchy-feely with everyone, and that it took them a while to get used to it as well. Hearing that makes Aki disheartened, as he thought that he was the only one getting such treatment. They proceed to introduce themselves, revealing that the youngest one, only slightly older than Aki, is Yuzu, and she is the student council president at the school he will start attending. She is quite close with Sumair, who is also the vice president, and gets frequent nosebleeds when she interacts with Yuzu. The third and last girl is Yuri, and she appears to be the most normal one of the bunch at first glance. As they are getting to know each other, Aki learns that Sumair has a thing for Yuzu. But Yuri tells him that she is too incompetent to make anything happen, so she will be counting on his help with that matter. Once the 3 girls go take a bath, Aki returns to his room, frustrated that the way Aayaka was treating him is just the way she is to everyone. The next morning, Aayaka comes into Aki's room to wake him up. When he does not respond to her voice, she ends up jumping into his bed. This proves effective and he becomes wide awake in an instant. The commotion attracts Yuzu, and she reprimands both of them for being inappropriate. Since the student council has work to do before the classes begin, the 3 girls leave ahead of Aki, leaving him behind alone with Aayaka. It is then that he reveals how he is worried that he will be made fun of and unable to make friends since he transferred from a small, remote village. To try and help him out, Aayaka comes up with an idea. In order to have him practice conversing with his peers, she dresses up in her old school uniform, pretending to be a girl his age. She explains that this will help him get used to talking to others in school, but his mind only goes to a lewd place once again, wondering if this will help her see him as a man. Aayaka drills him with some casual questions he might get during his first day, but Aki only gets more flustered. Even more so when she presses his hand against her chest, so he could feel how nervous she is as well. Realizing that it is getting late, Aki gets ready to leave, but before he can go, Aayaka pulls him close and wishes him good luck on his first day, telling him that she believes he will be able to make lots of new friends. Once he comes back from school, Aki tells her how everything went well, thanking her for what she did to prepare him for it, as it proved to be exactly what he needed. Hearing that, Aayaka gives him a hug and pats his head, telling him that he did well and that he is a good boy. A month has passed since Aki has moved into the new dorm. Slowly but surely he is getting used to living in Tokyo, but when Aayaka suddenly welcomes him home wearing a skimpy cheerleader's outfit, he is caught off guard. She continues playing the role of a cheerleader and cheers him on as he proceeds to do his homework. When he can no longer handle the distraction, Yuzu, Sumire and Yuri barge into his room as well, telling him that the reason why Aayaka is dressed up like that is because the school sports day is coming up. Since everyone from the dormitory ended up on the same team, Yuzu is determined that they must give it their all and win. In order to do so, she has Aayaka train Aki to make sure he is prepared. And so Aki and Aayaka start training for the sports day. While they warm up by helping each other do some stretches, Aki cannot help but have perverted thoughts. The two of them are meant to participate together in a three-legged race, so they start practicing running together to make sure they are in perfect sync. However, Aki keeps getting embarrassed by her chest bouncing right in front of his face. Once they finish training for the day, Aayaka suggests that Aki should take a bath. Soon enough she joins him as well, telling him how his hair has grown quite a bit, so she would like to cut it for him. Although he is bashful about it, he gives in and allows her to have her way. As she is shortening his hair, they talk about the upcoming sports day, but Aki ends up dozing off. When she finishes cutting his hair, she wakes him up and helps him wash his hair after hearing that he is happy with it. Afterwards, Aki hops into the bath and quickly gets embarrassed when he spots Aayaka washing herself off with the shower head next to him. His embarrassment only grows when she decides to hop into the bath with him. Although he protests, she tells him that they need to do everything together in order to perform better during the three-legged race. Back in his room, Aki gets nervous about the sports event, worried that he might not be able to handle Aayaka being so close to him for much longer. The days leading up to the event pass by quickly, and Aayaka is making sure to train and do as many activities as possible together with Aki. This results in Aki being completely worn out when the sports day finally dawns, and he is unable to even take part in the event. One day Aki is startled by Yuza's scream. He hurries to see what is wrong, only to find her mid-changing. It turns out that she saw a large spider and freaked out, so now she wants him to take care of it. But the spider is big and scary, so he does not want to mess with it either. This does little to calm Yuzu down, and she starts freaking out, revealing that she is terrified of such creepy crawlies. Sumire is next to arrive on the scene, and after hearing Yuza's panicked screams, she hurries to her side. But the spider ambushes her by dropping on her head, and she ends up fainting. Yuri reassures them that this is a huntsman spider and does not actually harm humans, despite being so scary. But even though she is saying that, she refuses to come and help them deal with it. Aayaka is the last one to arrive on the scene, noticing the commotion in the hallway. The spider suddenly drops down on top of her chest, but instead of freaking out, she simply grabs it and tosses it out of the window in a calm and orderly manner. While everyone else is still processing how composed she was with handling the scary spider, Aayaka asks Aki to go out shopping with her. Aki is happy to do so, but then starts overthinking it and gets worried about what kind of clothing he should wear for their outing. Yuzu, Sumire and Yuri help him out, telling him not to think too much about a simple shopping trip. While they are talking about Aayaka, they wonder what her weakness is, seeing that she handled the spider so easily. In order to find out, they make Aki learn what it is during the shopping trip. The first destination of their shopping trip is actually the liquor store where Aki got directions before, and he learns that the kind owner lady is named Yetsuho, and she is an old friend of Aayaka. Afterwards, they continue shopping for the rest of the day, but Aki is so taken by Aayaka that he is unable to find out anything about her weaknesses. On their way home, he is simply satisfied with the fact that he was able to have a fun day with Aayaka, and only wishes that he will be able to have more such days in the future. It turns out that Yuzu already anticipated that he will be unable to find anything out, so when he returns, she gives him a videocassette with a scary movie on it. She tells him to watch it together with Aayaka in order to see if that helps him learn anything. But when they watch the movie, Aki is the only one who gets scared by it. They start running out of ideas, and Aki figures it is better if they give up on it. But Yuzu asks him if he would not want to know what scares Aayaka, so that he could protect her from it like a real man. This flips his switch and he immediately changes his tune, rushing off to directly ask Aayaka what she finds scary. realizing that this is the reason behind the sudden scary movie he wanted to watch with her. Aayaka tells him that she would find it quite scary if someone were to sneak into her room when she was asleep. Learning that, Aki decides to put that information to the test and sneaks into her room this very night. But instead of her getting scared, she suddenly pulls him down into her futon and hugs him tightly. It turns out she was awake, and she tells him that she was actually scared during the horror movie, but when she saw how scared he was, she held it in to make him feel safe. Now, in order to take responsibility for that, she tells him to sleep with her, so that she will be able to sleep in peace. The following morning, the two of them are discovered in bed together, much to Yuzu's dissatisfaction. While Aki is writing his homework, Yuzu is reading a romance manga on top of his bed. He gets upset that she is distracting him by hanging out in his room, but she refuses to leave, stating how with the current heat wave, his room is the coolest one in the entire dorm. Aki starts getting nervous, finally realizing that the two of them are alone in his room right now. Yuzu notices him staring at her, so she figures he is interested in the manga she is reading. Thus she invites him to read it together with her and ends up sitting down in between his legs. At that moment she realizes that they are in a rather embarrassing position, and that she has got him in the same place as the heroine of the manga she is reading has her love interest. She suddenly freezes up, so Aki moves to flip the page, but this pushes her past her limit and she storms out of the room. Aayaka sees her as she is bringing some cookies for Aki to snack on, and asks him what happened. He confesses that he is also wondering what came over her, as all they were doing was reading a manga. Thanks to that, Aayaka quickly realizes what must have happened and tells him to reproduce what they just did with her, so he could see how she felt. Aki agrees to do so, but when Aayaka invites him to sit in her lap in order to recreate the scene, he realizes exactly how it felt for Yuzu. Despite that, she does not let him go and continues teasing him in her lap. Yuzu returns to retrieve her manga, only to find them in such a compromising position, and immediately scolds them, telling them to stop being so indecent. The following day, Aki has the feeling that he is being followed. This feeling turns out to be correct as Sumair jumps him in the bathroom. It turns out that she was following him everywhere in order to find out why Yuzu is talking so much about him lately. In her mission to learn everything there is about him, she has decided to stay close to him for the time being, so she follows him into his room as well. Due to her presence, he has a hard time focusing on his homework. Just then, she spots all of the mistakes he made while writing it, and ends up helping him out. Aki is grateful for her assistance and thanks her, telling her how fun it is to do homework together with her. Hearing that, she returns to her original mission and starts snooping around his room, finding a cute cat pillow plush behind his bed. She immediately takes a liking to it and reveals that she is very much into cute things. Aayaka walks in on them just as Sumair is in the middle of praising cute things, and gets the wrong idea. But Sumair quickly explains that there is nothing going on between them. Not long after that day, they find Sumair depressed in her room. It turns out she invited Yuzu to the amusement park, but when she wanted to go on a ride, she was too short to board it. Since Sumair knows that Yuzu is self-conscious about her short stature, she ends up blaming herself for the situation. But Yuzu is not upset at her at all. Instead, she wants Aki to help Sumair feel better, since Aayaka is not home right now. Worried about entering a girl's room uninvited as a boy, Aki raises his protest, but Yuzu and Yuri just end up dressing him up as a girl to get past that hurdle. Despite the embarrassing situation, he does want to help Sumair, so he forces himself to step in and cheer her up. It quickly becomes obvious to Aki just how bad she is feeling right now, so he tells her that he will do anything to make her feel better. Hearing that, she first makes him help her change into pajamas, which he does, despite it being very embarrassing. But that is not enough, and she tells him that she needs to recharge her batteries by carrying Yuzu on her shoulders. Hearing that, Aki offers that she uses him in Yuzu's stead this time. Sumair ends up agreeing to it, seeing that Aki looks like a little girl right now, and picks him up. This helps her recharge her batteries, and she finally leaves her room, apologizing to Yuzu for the trouble she caused. Yuzu quickly forgives her, telling her how she was not upset at her in the slightest in the first place. The next day they return to the amusement park, as Yuzu had a brilliant idea how to get past the height barrier, by placing a chicken on top of her head. However, the attendant in charge of the ride still refuses to let her on, which leaves her in shock. Next is Yuri, who gives Aki a special request, telling him that she needs help with something, and he is the only one who can do it. Hearing that makes him happy, and he jumps on the occasion to prove himself as a man. But his excitement is short-lived. It turns out she wants him to put on all sorts of girly costumes she made herself. Seeing that she is not going to accept a no for an answer, Aki goes along with Yuri's request, thinking back how his older sister always made him do the same thing back home. Thus they spend the rest of the afternoon in Yuri's room, where she holds a photo shoot with Aki, having him dress up in all kinds of girly outfits. They start making a ruckus as the outfits get looter, so Aayaka comes by to check in on them. Aki does not want to be seen by her like this, so he grabs Yuri and drags her into the closet together with him. His plan succeeds and they avoid getting caught by Aayaka, but Yuri is quick to point out how the two of them pressing against each other inside the closet is quite lewd, which makes Aki flustered and he jumps out as quickly as possible. At the end of the day, Yuri is very happy with the way the photo shoot turned out, framing one of the photos of Aki and placing it next to their group photo. One day Yuzu brings up the topic of weddings, so all of the girls start discussing what kind of wives they would like to be. When it is Ayaka's turn, she reveals that she would like that both her partner and herself could rely on and support each other. But for now she is happy with the way things are in her life, and has no desire to get married anytime soon. Hearing that makes Aki relieved, and he starts thinking how he could get married to her one day, deciding he must start making her think of him as a man. The rainy season has come to an end, and summer has rolled in, so the dorm has set up an inflatable pool in their backyard. Yuzu is very excited to have fun in it, and Yuri is quick to tease her about it. She retaliates by spraying some water towards her, but pushes him right into it. Aki figures that this is her way of being considerate towards him, as he refused to play in the pool on his own. Later in the evening, Aki spots Yuri taking some pictures in the hallway and approaches her. She tells him how she got a new camera recently, so she is motivated to take as many new photos as possible. While showing him some of the photos she took, she shows him one of Yuzu changing on accident. Before they can discuss what he just saw, despite Aki being there, Sumair can no longer hold herself back and she purchases photos of Yuzu from Yuri. It turns out that Yuri has quite a profitable business going by selling those to her. Once Sumair leaves, Yuri confronts Aki about what he just learned, threatening to make him disappear if he does not help her out and take a few pictures of Aayaka. Seeing no other option, Aki agrees, but her threat was only a joke, and he should not take her so seriously. The summer vacation arrives and Aki suddenly learns another new custom at the dorm, namely the fact that they do their summer homework immediately when the summer vacation begins. Since it is Aki's first time, Aayaka tells him that she will be helping him out. Next morning, the three girls leave for the school in order to finish up some student council work. While Aki is left behind alone with Aayaka, he quickly cleans up his room and prepares to spend a day together with her. When she enters his room, he is surprised to see her wearing a suit. Aki confesses that he does love her as well, but that she has to stop anyway, as this is wrong. Just then, the situation de-escalates as she suddenly dozes off, while still leaning against him. When she comes to, she finds herself resting on Aki's lap. Apologizing, she reveals that she is often told how she gets very intense when she drinks some alcohol, but she does not remember what happens while she is in such a state, adding that the two of them should go drinking together when he grows up. Before she leaves, Wichmi enters his room to find an unknown girl in the middle of changing inside of it. Embarrassed, he quickly closes the door and wonders who that is. Before he can figure out what is going on, the girl opens the door and apologizes for the confusion, explaining how she thought no one was here, as this was her room before this year began. She introduces herself as Nana and starts teasing Aki, stating how she has to confirm for herself that he is in fact a boy and not a girl. Yuzu hears the commotion and enters Aki's room, but quickly turns around to leave when she spots Nana. However, Nana does not let her escape, running after her and cuddling her, revealing that the two of them are quite close. Aki wonders how the two of them know each other, and Yuzu explains how Nana is the former student council president. Nana continues teasing Aki, but Yuzu breaks it off, telling Nana how she must behave now as she is now the top dog of the dormitory. But Nana does not just accept it and the two of them have a quick pop quiz showdown. Surprisingly, Nana easily beats Yuzu, showing off her academic prowess. Hearing the commotion, Aayaka enters the room as well, and gets surprised to see Nana there. As it turns out, Nana is Ayaka's younger sister. It quickly becomes apparent that Nana really loves her older sister, and that she will be spending her summer vacation here at the dorm. And to start it off, she wants to have a bath together with her in order to remember the good old days. The next morning, Aki wakes and immediately gets a stimulating shock as he notices Nana sleeping next to him. His reaction wakes her up, and after realizing that she crawled into his room as a force of habit, she apologizes and storms out as she does not want him to see her without her makeup on. It does not take long for her to recover and return fully dressed and prepared. She shows him where she hid her gaming console inside of the room and pulls it out, forcing him to play some games with her. Quickly realizing that Iki is quite bad at video games, she starts teasing him to the point that he ends up fainting. When he comes to, he finds himself resting on her lap. Not giving him any time to recover, she insists that they play a different game next. But Iki is equally as bad in the next game, and she keeps beating him over and over again. The gaming session gets interrupted by Aayaka, who calls them to come eat breakfast. Nana tells her how she wants to take Iki back home with her and keep him as a pet, but Aayaka denies her, stating that she is in charge of taking care of him. Iki ends up having a lewd dream with the two sisters in it, where both of them ask him to rub sun lotion all over their bodies, while wearing only their very revealing bikinis. The next day Iki wakes up and finds Nana next to him yet again. The entire dorm goes to the public pool in order to have some summer fun. When Iki sees Aayaka in her bikini, he immediately remembers the dream and gets embarrassed. Noticing that she forgot to apply sunscreen on her body, Aayaka excuses herself and has Iki wait up on her. It is then that two girls show up and start hitting on him, trying to get him to go with them. But Nana shows up and reveals that the two girls are her friends, Mako and Mi, and they tell Iki how they are very much into younger boys, wondering if he is Nana's boyfriend. Nana quickly corrects their assumption, explaining that they are not dating, but that Iki instead belongs to her, much like a pet. At that moment Aayaka returns and meets Nana's friends for the first time as well. She thanks them for being kind to her sister, and her warm demeanor immediately makes them realize how caring and protective she is. Aayaka wants to take Iki to teach him how to swim, but Nana whispers to her that she told her friends how she owns Iki, so she would like to have him for herself today. Aayaka does not seem to budge, so Nana quickly proposes that they have a swimming competition to determine who gets to spend the day with Iki. Hearing that, Aayaka chooses to humor her and accepts the challenge. Iki gets joined by Mako and Mi to judge the competition, but they immediately stop paying attention to the girls and start toying with Iki. The two sisters swim fast, but neither of them seems to be able to win by a decisive amount, so Nana keeps insisting on rematches over and over again. Eventually Mako and Mi get tired and go home, leaving Iki behind to watch Nana and Aayaka on his own. Shortly thereafter Yuzu comes to let him know that it is time to go home for them as well. At this point Nana runs out of stamina and is unable to continue challenging Aayaka, which makes her the default winner. With their match finally settled, she comes over to Iki and tells him it is time that she teaches him how to swim. But Iki tells her how the pool is already closing, so it will have to wait. Iki and Yuzu are watching a horror movie together, but Yuzu is too terrified to sit through the entire thing, revealing that she is quite the scaredy cat. However, Iki is not faring much better and ends up getting quite the fright when Nana jump scares them. On the other hand, Yuzu ends up fainting from the shock. Nana keeps teasing Iki, telling him how the dorm is very old and might be haunted, but she is willing to sleep with him if that will make him feel more at ease. During the night Iki suddenly starts hearing loud banging sounds coming from behind the wall of his room. Deciding to tell Aayaka about them, he comes to her room and ends up finding Yuzu there as well, who is too scared to sleep on her own. Aayaka tells him that the sounds must be coming from the old storage room, whose entrance is located outside of the house, but it has been left unused for a long time and the doors have gotten rusted shut. Even though Iki is scared of ghosts in the abandoned storage, he decides to try and be a man and investigate the source of the sounds. Mustering his courage, he comes up to the storage room and finds out that the doors are not rusted shut at all. Just when he gets worried that there might be an intruder, he opens the door and finds none other than Nana in there. It turns out she has purchased some expensive workout equipment and decided to use this room to work out when the temperature drops during the night. She is using this storage to hide it from Aayaka, since her new place is too small to fit all the equipment in, and Aayaka would not approve of her buying so much expensive stuff. Unfortunately for her, Aayaka walks into the storage just at that moment and overhears everything. In order to punish Nana for doing this behind her back, she decides to cut back on the tasty food she prepares for her. Witnessing that, Iki realizes that the scariest thing in the dorm is not some ghost, but the caretaker herself. The following day Nana decides that she has to clear out the storeroom of her workout equipment, so she asks Yuzu and Iki to take some of it, since throwing it out would be a huge waste. However, Yuzu has a bad experience with the treadmill and decides she does not want any of the stuff. To settle the predicament, Nana insists that they have a workout competition, and the loser will have to take all of the stuff into their room. Yuri and Sumair join Iki to serve as judges and the competition begins. It quickly becomes evident that Nana is the favorite to win, but Iki cannot bring himself to watch carefully, as the way Nana works out makes him think of lewd things. Yuzu does make an unexpected comeback, but Aayaka interrupts the competition by reminding them that they cannot store exercise equipment in their rooms, since those could scrape the floorboards, so instead they have to keep it in the storage after all. After realizing how much hard work Aayaka has to do around the dorm, Aki wonders if he can do something to help her out. Noticing his predicament, Yuri suggests that he gives her a massage in order to help her relax. Since Aki does not know how to do a massage, Yuri brings him to Sumair and proceeds to tie her up, as they use her to teach Aki how to give massages. Despite Sumair's protests, Yuri proceeds to teach Aki the ropes, subjecting Sumair to a very pleasurable experience. Happy with the results, Aki offers Aayaka a relaxing massage, which she is happy to accept. However, as he uses the technique Yuri taught him, Aayaka does not respond in the same way. Instead, she calls him a pervert, but does not otherwise complain. Unbeknownst to him, she is doing her best to hold back her voice, and even before he is finished with the massage, she taps out, telling him that she feels much better already and needs to return to her duties. When Yuri hears that the technique did not seem to be effective on Aayaka, she wonders if Aki did something wrong, so they return to practicing on Sumair, who is immediately overwhelmed by all the stimulation. Nana's friends, Mako and Mi, show up at the dorm, begging her to help them out with finishing their summer homework. It turns out they spent the entire summer looking at young boys at the pool, instead of doing something productive. Nana agrees to help them and comes up with an idea to motivate them. Specifically, for every page of homework they write, they get to do whatever they want to Aki for 10 seconds. Although reluctant at first, Aki goes along with the plan as long as they do not do anything too weird. This proves to be very effective as the girls give it their all to write their homework, just so they could tease Aki to their heart's content. At some point, Aayaka brings refreshments to their room, and they decide to play the King's Game together with her. Figuring they could use a change of pace, Aayaka agrees, and even puts on her old school uniform so she could fit in better. The first round of the King's Game starts, and it comes down to Aki and Aayaka eating a Pocky together. Despite the girls wanting to get to do things with Aki, they all end up matching with Aayaka, except for Nana, who gets frustrated that she did not get picked a single time so far. Deciding to take things into her own hands, she pins Aki down and forcefully tries to share a Pocky with him. But Aayaka interrupts her, reminding them that it is getting late so they need to finish their homework. Once they are finally done, the girls ask Aki for a massage, since they heard that he knows how to do them. He agrees and the three girls present themselves to him, but are caught by surprise when his technique becomes too much for them to handle, and they cannot hold back their voices from the stimulation. The summer is coming to an end and the fireworks festival is coming up. Nana tells Aki that she will have to leave soon since her school will start again, so watching the fireworks will be a bit sad for her. In order to make the most out of the remaining time with Aki, she forces him to play some more games with her. After returning home from a shopping trip, Aayaka and Aki are intercepted by Nana, who asks Aayaka to do something special to her, seeing that she will be leaving soon. Aayaka agrees and the two of them go into their room. Curious by what it is they could be doing, Aki sneaks up to the room and eavesdrops on them, but the only thing he hears is Nana's pleasure-filled voice. After a short while, Nana exits the room, only to catch Aki in the act. First, she teases him for listening in, before revealing that Aayaka just cleaned her ears. To show him how good it feels, she tells Aayaka that Aki would like his ears cleaned as well. Even though he is embarrassed, he gives in quite quickly and places his head in Ayaka's lap, allowing her to take care of him. His embarrassment fades away quickly as the soothing sensation of Ayaka's ear cleaning takes over, and he even ends up dozing off before he knows it. Once he is finally awake, he finds out that Nana took a photo of him sleeping in Ayaka's lap, and is now showing it to other girls in the dorm. In order to make Aki feel less embarrassed about the situation, Yuri shows him the photos she took of Nana and Yuzu in the same situation, which proves to be very effective in shutting them up. Preparing to go to the summer festival, Nana shows off her yukata to Aki and Aayaka, trying to encourage Aayaka to get a yukata for herself as well. However, as it turns out, she cannot get any that would fit her locally, so she would need to order them online. And as it happens, she is no good with using a computer or the internet. When Aki hears that she will not be wearing a yukata, he gets visibly disappointed, so Aayaka changes her mind and decides to get herself one after all. Yuzu gets flustered as she wants to ask Aki out to go to the festival with her, but when she enters his room, she finds Nana and Aayaka already hogging him all to themselves, so she gives up on asking him out and goes with Sumair and Yuri instead. It is time for the festival and Aki is getting escorted by Nana and Aayaka, who are holding him by the hands to make sure he does not get lost, seeing that it is his first festival in Tokyo. Although it is somewhat embarrassing, he does his best to enjoy the festival and participates in all sorts of mini games. Unfortunately, he is no good at any of them and fails to win any prizes. They end up bumping into Mako and me as well, who join up with them so they could have fun with Iki. Eventually things start getting out of hand when the 4 girls try to feed Iki all sorts of snacks. Not being able to handle the embarrassment, he throws a tantrum and runs away to get some space. After running for a while, Iki trips and falls, which helps him decide that he finally got far enough. Meanwhile, Nana lets Yuzu, Sumire and Yuri know that Iki is missing, so the 3 of them join the rest of the group, who are worried about Iki and are trying to find him. The fireworks start and Iki has had enough time to clear his head, so he immediately regrets his outburst, and wishes he could see the fireworks together with Aayaka and the others. At that moment Aayaka surprises him from behind. It turns out she managed to track him down, and is quick to reprimand him for running off on his own. After she sees that he truly regrets his actions, she relents and proceeds to enjoy the fireworks show together with him, holding his hand firmly to make sure she does not lose him again. After a while she starts leading him back to the festival grounds, where the rest of the group is still searching for him. On their way, they can hear Yuzu commandeering the loudspeakers and yelling at him to hurry up and return. Soon enough they all regroup and watch the rest of the fireworks show together until it finishes. Aki notices how sad Nana is, as she will have to leave the dorm now. The next morning they have one last game together before she bids everyone farewell and leaves. Aki runs after her and promises that he will practice hard in order to get better at the games they played, so they can have more fun next time she returns. Hearing that makes Nana very happy, lifting the gloomy mood. However, the very next Sunday, Nana returns to the dorm, revealing that she plans of dropping by every day when there are no classes for her to attend, much to Aki's surprise, who wonders why she made such a big deal of leaving if she intended to do this from the very beginning. One day Aayaka takes Aki with her to help out Yatsuho with her shop, as it is time for the Oktoberfest celebration, and she is going to need some helping hands to handle all of the guests. Aki is happy to be of use, but gets second thoughts when he realizes that the uniform Yatsuho had prepared is meant for a girl, as she only ever had girls helping her out. Then he remembers that Yuri packed something in his backpack to help him out if he gets in a pinch, so he opens it, hoping for a male uniform. Unfortunately, what she packed for him is a wig, so he can fit in better as a girl. With no other choice left, he puts on the uniform and the wig and starts helping out. Aayaka is a natural waitress, so Yatsuho explains how she always helps out during this time, and having her around even boosts the popularity of her store. On the other hand, Aki is struggling to keep up with the work, and when he tries to match Ayaka's outstanding performance, ends up making a mistake and spilling some beer on a guest's table. In order to make up for his mistake, Aayaka quickly jumps in and apologizes, giving the guest a free drink and some snacks, despite the fact that the guest is not even upset. When she is done tending to the guest, Aayaka reassures Aki that there are no problems, and that he is doing a good job hanging in there, motivating him to keep going. Thanks to that, he has a lot of fun during the rest of their shift. When Yatsuho closes the shop for the day, she asks Aki to serve as a poster girl for her business, but he promptly refuses. Suddenly Aayaka jumps him from behind, and Aki quickly realizes that Yatasho must have given her alcohol, as she gets even closer to him than usual, before suddenly falling asleep. Yuzu, Sumire and Yuri leave on a school trip to Kyoto, leaving Aki and Aayaka alone at the dorm. After they see them off, Aayaka tells Aki to sleep in her room if he gets lonely without the other girls around. Embarrassed, he runs into the house ahead of her. At that moment Nana arrives for a visit and asks Aayaka to prepare some warm food for her. With the days getting colder, Aayaka gets the perfect idea and bakes some sweet potatoes for her and Aki. The two of them really enjoy the nutritious snack, so Nana decides to take a picture and send it to Yuzu. Yuzu, Sumire and Yuri are quick to respond with lots of pictures of the snacks they are having as well. Later on, Nana gets worried that she is putting on too much weight, blaming Aayaka for feeding her such tasty food. She proceeds to inspect her sister's body next, feeling up Aayaka and teasing her for putting on some weight as well. The two of them are quite loud, which makes it hard for Aki to focus on his studies. Later in the evening he hears strange noises coming from the storage room, and when he inspects them, he sees Aayaka trying to figure out how to work the treadmill. Deciding to remain silent about it, he returns to his room and goes to bed. In the morning Aayaka enters Aki's room to wake him up, but instead of her usual energetic self, she is very quiet and shaky. Suddenly she collapses onto him, which makes him think that she is teasing him, before he realizes that she is actually sick. In a panic, he rushes to Yuzu's room and interrupts her mid-changing, telling her how Aayaka collapsed and that they need to call an ambulance. Yuzu tells him to calm down and finishes changing before checking in on Aayaka, who, turns out, has caught a bad cold. Sumair and Yuri quickly come to help Yuzu change her into pajamas and tuck her in Aki's bed, since moving her around in such a state would not be a good idea. Once they are done, they tell Aki to stay behind and take care of Aayaka instead of going to school today, since the three of them have student council duties they cannot miss. After waking up from a fever-induced nightmare, Aayaka is greeted by Aki, who has prepared some porridge for her. Since she is weak from her illness, she makes Aki feed her. After she finishes her meal, she asks him to wipe down her back, as she is sweating quite a lot. He agrees, but only after making sure that she will not face him after she takes off her clothes, so that he would not see anything he is not supposed to see. However, it does not take long for Aayaka to take advantage of the situation, telling him to wipe her front as well. Mustering his courage, Aki powers through and manages to completely wipe her down. It does not take her long to recover, and she is already feeling better the very next day. Everyone is happy to see her back on her feet. But when Yuzu, Yuki, and Sumair hear that Aki wiped down her entire body, they get quite upset at him. Yatsuho drops by and gives 2 tickets to the aquarium to Aayaka in order to thank her for all the help recently. Time for Halloween has come, so Nana, Mi, and Meiko take Aki with them to celebrate together. In order to do so, they bring him along to sing karaoke with them. While the 3 girls have fun singing their songs, the real fun begins when it is Aki's turn. The 3 of them gang up together and start teasing him, preventing him from properly singing the song. Afterwards, they want to continue having fun, but Aki insists on returning to the dorm, so they give in, after taking him to a photo booth first. Meanwhile, Yatsuho and Aayaka are having a good time drinking. Using her chance to vent about work, a drunk Yatsuho confesses that she wishes Aayaka was her mommy, so she would get pampered every single day. On the other hand, Aki has a fun photo shoot with the girls, and Mi and Meiko leave a rather cute and embarrassing group photo as a memory of the occasion with him. It is already late when Aki returns to the dorm, where he runs into Yuzu, Yuri, and Sumair, all of whom are in their Halloween costumes. They quickly realize that something is wrong, as they hear strange noises coming from the living room. Following the noises, they find Aayaka and Yatsuho behaving weirdly and realize that they must be drunk. Yuzu tries to talk some sense into them, but only ends up getting pulled into a tight embrace where they start smooching her. Sumair and Yuri try to help, but only get pulled in as well. Seeing how things are developing, Aki decides it is best he pretends to not see anything, so he sneaks away to his room. Aki and Aayaka are together in the local aquarium. Thinking back, Aki remembers how she invited him the other day, and he cannot help but feel happy about it. Although everything they see is quite beautiful, the main attraction are the penguins, which both of them enjoy watching. Before returning home, they enjoy some soft cream and remember to pick up some souvenirs for the others. Sumair and Aki have been getting along very well lately, so Yuri mentions that they look like siblings. It turns out that Sumair takes that remark to heart, and tries getting into the role of his big sister. When Yuzu hears what is going on, she insists that she would be the role model big sister to Aki, so she starts playing the part and offers a lap pillow for him. However, when he places his head on her lap, she gets very bashful. This triggers Sumair, and she decides that Yuzu will be her big sister instead, so that she could be pampered in the same way as Aki. Yuri is next to take her turn playing his big sister. In order to do so, she peels an apple for him and starts feeding him. But this also proves to be too embarrassing, so she taps out. Finally, Sumair takes her turn and invites him to take a bath with her. It turns out that she is not embarrassed in the slightest, so Yuzu has to step in to stop her, telling her how it is not normal for siblings of the opposite sex to bathe together. But since none of them actually have siblings to use as reference, they realize that Aayaka is the only role model they had so far. Remembering that Aki does have an older sister, they ask him for his input, but the moment they mention his sister, his eyes go dull, and he becomes distant. Thinking to himself, he figures it is time he manages to move past his trauma now that he has moved away. At the same time, a mysterious girl finds her way to the dormitory, happy that she managed to locate it. A white-haired girl wearing nothing but her underwear wakes Aki up in the morning. He immediately recognizes her as his sister, and she wastes no time in helping him change into his daytime clothes. At that moment, Aayaka enters his room and interrupts them. Once everyone gathers in the living room, the mysterious girl introduces herself as Matsuri, Aki's big sister. Everyone is also wondering why Aki is wearing girly clothes all of a sudden, to which Matsuri explains that she brought them with, as she figured he would not have any with him. In addition to that, she keeps referring to him as her little sister. After a short chat where she gets to know Aki's new friends, she declares that it is time for her to leave, but not without Aki. It turns out that her intention is to bring Aki back home with her, regardless of his wishes, as she believes that he cannot do anything without her around. Hearing that, Aki hides behind Aayaka and tells his sister that she is now taking care of everything. Even so, Matsuri does not back down and insists that Aayaka is only tempting him with her body. To make sure she is worthy of taking care of her little brother, she wants to put her to the test. Aayaka quickly agrees to take part in the test, and when she hears Matsuri's stomach rumbling, she suggests she will start by preparing a meal for them. Matsuri tries to play it cool, but she gets surprised straight from the start when Aayaka prepares their favorite food, and it tastes amazing. Trying to keep some pride, she tells her that this much was expected, despite the fact that it was obvious just how much she enjoyed it. And so, Aayaka continues to pamper Matsuri during the entire day, subjecting her to all of the things she usually does for Aki and the others without holding anything back. When night falls, Aayaka tells her to stay in the dorm, even going to the length of brushing her teeth before tucking her in. Just as she is about to fall asleep, Matsuri remembers why she is here and gets back up, declaring how now is not the time to sleep. But Aayaka takes that as a reminder that they did not take a bath yet, so she prepares the bath for them. Naturally, she joins Matsuri in the bath and washes her back, as is tradition at the dorm. This makes Matsuri realize that she did the same thing to Aki, and she gets even more flustered, declaring how her love for Aki will never be matched by Aayaka. This does not faze Aayaka, and she simply continues pampering her. While washing her back, Aayaka reassures Matsuri that she does not need to worry about Aki, as she is taking very good care of him, and she will continue to do so as long as he stays here. Not only that, but she also wishes that Matsuri could stay here forever, as she enjoys chatting with her. Hearing that, Matsuri concedes defeat and says how Aayaka passed for now, but she will return to continue testing her at a later date. Hearing that she will be back makes Aayaka happy, and she ushers her back to bed so they can sleep together. When Aki and Aayaka go out shopping together, Matsuri starts following them to make sure Aayaka is not slacking off while she is not around. Seeing how Aayaka was doing something inappropriate towards her little brother, she blows her cover and confronts them. But it is quickly revealed that the only thing Aayaka did was feed him a snack, since his hands were busy carrying groceries. When Aayaka starts telling her more about the shopping district, Matsuri uses the opening to grab Aki and run off with him. After they get out of sight, she confronts him and insists that they return home. However, Tokyo is a big city and she has gotten herself lost, so she asks Aki for directions. But he has no desire to return, so he refuses to guide her. Seeing that he will not help, she stubbornly continues to lead him back and forth, clearly having no idea where to go. Suddenly she trips and falls, injuring her ankle in the process. Aki quickly offers to carry her, despite her protests, and starts walking back towards the dorm. While resting against his back, Matsuri remembers how he used to be a crybaby, and she did the same thing to him back when they were little. It was then that she decided how he is helpless without her. But now he has started to change and has become more reliable. When they reach the dorm, they find Aayaka waiting for them outside. Aki quickly explains how Matsuri hurt herself, and Aayaka praises him for being a good boy and carrying his sister so far. After they take care of her swollen ankle, Matsuri excuses herself and returns home on her own. However, she shows up at the dorm not long after that day, letting them know that she has moved to a nearby school, so she will be living close by. Not only that, but she will not allow Aayaka to have her beloved little brother, as she starts to finally recognize him as a boy. Aki is helping Aayaka set up the kotatsu in the living room. Both of them are eager to enjoy its warmth now that it has gotten colder. To make the kotatsu experience complete, Aayaka brings out some mandarins and feeds them to Aki. Despite feeling like a pet, he cannot bring himself to stop her and ends up enjoying the entire snack. Suddenly, the kotatsu stops working, so Aayaka crawls underneath it to check what is wrong, using the chance to play a prank on him while fixing the problem. With the kotatsu working again, Aki ends up dozing off, so Aayaka covers him with her jacket to prevent him catching a cold, and keeps close watch over his sleeping face until he wakes up again. Walking through the shopping center together with Yuzu, Aki reveals that he is looking forward to seeing what kind of present Santa will bring him this Christmas. Yuzu is left speechless by the revelation that he still believes in Santa Claus. She brings the news to Yuri and Sumair, stating how she does not want to tell him the truth, as she was put out of commission for a week when she found out. But what makes things worse is that he plans on staying up so he could meet Santa, so they try coming up with a plan to preserve his Christmas illusion. Christmas Eve comes and the dorm is very lively, with Nana, Mi and Mako joining them in the festivities. Everyone is wearing Christmas-themed costumes, and they are thrilled to enjoy all the tasty food Aayaka has prepared for the occasion. When Yatsuho comes by with her delivery of drinks, they forbid her from giving Aayaka any alcohol today. Yuzu makes sure to ensure no one will spill the beans and reveal the truth behind Santa Claus to Aki. Meanwhile, Matsuri sneaks into the backyard of the dorm, determined to find a way into Aki's room. However, she has no success, and she is discovered by Aayaka after they bid farewell to Yatsuho, Mi and Mako. As Aki prepares to get in bed and wait for Santa, Yuzu shows up at his door, asking to sleep with him tonight. She wants to make sure he ends up falling asleep, so his illusion about Santa remains intact. Although he is confused by Yuzu's sudden request, Aki humors her and the two of them get in bed, where Yuzu tries to make him fall asleep. It does not take long for Aki to doze off, and Yuzu follows shortly thereafter, despite being very embarrassed for sharing the bed with him. When both of them are fast asleep, Aayaka and Matsuri sneak into the room together and leave behind their presents. Aki gets stirred in his slumber by the noise as they are leaving, and he spots Aayaka just before she exits the room. But as he is still half asleep and she is wearing a Santa costume, he thinks that this is the real Santa and quickly falls asleep again, dreaming of going on an adventure with Aayaka, the Santa. The next morning he is very excited about what he thinks he saw last night, and he tells Aayaka that Santa looks very similar to her. After cleaning the entire dorm before New Year, everyone goes to sleep except for Aki and Aayaka. Even though it is past his bedtime, he wants to greet the new year together with her. Both of them are very happy to have met each other and confess how they had a lot of fun time together. When the clock hits midnight, they wish a happy new year to each other, but it is way too late for Aki and he is barely keeping himself awake. Seeing that, Aayaka walks him back to his room, hoping that the next year will be equally as fun, as she promises to take really good care of him once again. The next day they pay a visit to the shrine, as it is tradition for New Year, and Aki wishes that he gets even closer to Aayaka during this year.